Very nice to be here. What was 5A? Somebody remember? First one? Then second one? कोई लड़की से आकर्षण हो गया तो रिश्ता बनाना तो अटेंशन देना उसके बाद अटेंशन के बाद सब अटैचमेंट मिलता है अटैचमेंट का सिम्टम क्या होगा अब्जॉर्प्शन से क्या आएगा लोग सब याद है मैं इतना को सिखा तो याद ही नहीं
That they have imbibed what you are teaching, they have imbibed in their lives. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, Sri Sutta Goswami practically gives a entire theme and summary of and the mood of Srimad Bhagavatam. And one of the verse he says, Ata pumbirduja shrestha varnashrama vibhagasha swanasthutasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. So the goal of life of any activity we do in our life, should be aligned with this particular theme, that the goal is to always do everything for Krishna's pleasure. And ultimately, and like yesterday we heard so many wonderful points of how Krishna loves us. So we can all being inspired and being sheltered by this understanding that how Krishna loves us, right? A devotee's only desire remains that he wants to simply reciprocate with Krishna's love by trying to please Krishna, right? So the goal of life, the ultimate goal of life is to go back to Godhead, to please Krishna. Yes, thank you. So everyone knows the perfect goal of life. So a devotee is not even concerned whether he is back to Godhead, whether he is in material world, doesn't matter. All these things are secondary for him. His main point is whatever pleases Krishna. Krishna, if you want me to be in material world and suffer, okay, very nice. If you want me to go back to Godhead, very nice. So devotee is not even attached that he has to remain in material world. He is not attached to going back to Godhead. He is only attached to what Krishna wants and what pleases Krishna. So this is the ultimate perfection and ultimate stage we can come to. And all our desires are simply aligned with this idea. So when we sit for chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this particular aspiration, this particular aspect should be very, very much the very much heart of chanting Hare Krishna. When we chant Hare Krishna, the desire of a devotee is, as we are chanting, is that in my heart there may be so many other desires than to please Krishna. So my dear Lord, through your holy name, please cleanse of all these other desires. I don't want these things. So a devotee genuinely expresses this, that I do not want, because mind will keep shouting, right? Mind will keep presenting so many other thoughts, desires, so many other things to do, right? So honestly, during chanting, when we may not have strength to be able to say no to mind. Constantly desiring and praying to Krishna, Krishna, I do not want this, although these thoughts are coming, but please don't fulfill these thoughts. Although these desires are coming, I do not want this, And Krishna sees that genuine desire, because actually all what we can do except for desiring, right? Can we do anything else? Everything else in the material nature, if we see, everything is done by material nature, right? We hear this example of, if I want to even move my hand, only thing I can do is desire. And then material nature, through the whole mechanics of this machine, which is of body, he moves, material nature moves the hand. We can't even move our hand. And if Lord doesn't sanctions movement of hand, we'll get paralysis. We can't move. So we have nothing else in our lives than to desire. Desire is the only function of the jiva, right? And all other things in material nature is done by material nature, and in the spiritual world. So either Yogmaya or Mahamaya, they execute everything. But we can only do one thing, desire. So that is the only thing in our hand. and we can clearly see. So sometimes a devotee may say, "Oh Prabhu, mind is so turbulent, what can I do? I just couldn't control my mind, I couldn't control my senses." That is one thing. But what is our desire? That is in our hand. We can, if we very properly see, we can see that even when mind is turbulent, we always have a desire, right? We always have a free will. We always have a free will to choose what I want to do, right? And we always have free will to choose whether I choose Krishna or choose Maya. So this choice will be there as we chant Hare Krishna also. You can see every time there is a choice, whether I choose to hear the holy name and be attentive to Krishna, or whether I choose to hear the distractions offered by the mind, right? And even if we choose to hear the distraction, then again we have a choice whether I continue to meditate on that, or whether I come back, right? So we have choice. So that's why Krishna consciousness is not just one-time process. It's a moment-to-moment surrender. And while chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this moment-to-moment surrender is more clearly visible. That's why it is said chanting Hare Krishna is a barometer of spiritual life, right? So whatever is happening in our spiritual life, while chanting, everything will come. and how we act during that time is going to also determine our whole day also, right? Our whole day, our practically whole life. So that's why, during chanting, where Krishna is right present, right there, as we say Hare Krishna, Krishna loves us so much. As yesterday we discussed little bit, but what we discussed was very little. Krishna loves us much more, unlimited. Krishna loves us so much that when we say Hare Krishna, Krishna immediately comes. Right? Immediately is there. Actually, holy name is not different from Krishna. Krishna immediately comes, but only problem is he comes, and then we are calling. We call some devotee. And then I call him, and then he comes, and then I'm busy. I'm doing my own work. So then that devotee, how he'll feel, अरे प्रभु जी आप बुलाए मेरे को, आप इधर उधर कुछ कर रहे हैं, and then he goes away. Then I again call him, Prabhu, please come. And then he comes, and then again I am busy with something else. So in general, if suppose someone does like this with us, we'll become disgusted, offended, right? This is obviously an offense. But after some times, having repeatedly done this offense, we'll become disgusted and we'll say, बहुत हो गया, अभी नहीं आऊँगा मैं, ठीक है? दोबारा बुलाएंगे तो नहीं जाएंगे, है ना? But Krishna is not like that. As yesterday we saw, Krishna loves us so much that despite our being so neglectful, not only for so many days and months and years of chanting Hare Krishna, but even so many of lifetimes of neglect, Krishna doesn't stop. We say Hare Krishna, Krishna comes. Okay, yes, maybe now he will pay attention to me. So Krishna's love is, that's why, unconditional. So he is coming. So now, obviously it's an offense to be inattentive while chanting, as we hear, as we every day speak, right? So we are committing offense, and that offense makes us more vulnerable, because then material nature gives us more difficulties and problems. So offense is problem for us, but for Krishna's love, his love is unconditional. It's not that offense makes his love conditional or something, right? But it is completely irresponsible from our side that Krishna is doing so much and we are not at all reciprocating with his unconditional love. So that's why we should pay attention to Krishna's when he is coming, and we have that choice whether to pay heed to mind's distractions, which has always cheated us, life after life after life we have been cheated by it, or to pay heed to Krishna, who always really loves us. So now these two choices are there, and as we sit for chanting Hare Krishna, let us be intelligent, right? Right? Be intelligent and not pay heed to distracting words of mind, which is just repetition of all nonsense, right? Puna puna sarvata sarvananam. And isn't it mind? If you try to really analyze what mind proposes, this is all useless things, It is of no meaning. Whereas hearing even once holy name of Krishna gives such a great satisfaction. So really, it is foolishness to pay heed to distractions, and it is a sign of great intelligence to choose to hear Krishna's sweet holy names, by which all wonderful benefits are going to come in our life. So let us, as we chant Hare Krishna, let us receive Krishna through our ears by attentively hearing. At least let us try to pray sincerely that, my dear Krishna, I want to receive you, I want to hear you. And we want to do all this simply to please Krishna. Our all efforts are simply to please Krishna. And we should know, when we do this, when we just simply struggle and try to chant attentively, we should know that Krishna is standing right here and he is very happy. He is just pleased with our efforts to try to chant sincerely. Who will be happy like this? Let's suppose you sit for an exam and you have just attempted the paper. You have not actually got the right answer. Will professor give you marks? Right? So you don't get marks unless you get the right answer. Sometimes you may write 100-line codes or 200-line codes, but if there is one line error, one line is problem, you run the code and it won't run. You will not get the right answer. So you may have spent 4 nights, you might have spent 4 days, 4 nights not sleeping, and finally submitted the code. But just because there is one line error, you may lose all marks because code is useless. Right? Whereas Krishna doesn't see the results. Krishna is not interested. Krishna sees that you have put effort. Krishna is pleased. So result is obtained so easily in Krishna consciousness, provided we are sincere, serious, and without any ulterior motives. So let us chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to please Krishna. And to please Krishna, we need to just sincerely struggle to sincerely hear, receive Him through our ears. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Now let us offer our